They thought he was just another teenager, but what they didn't know was about to turn their world upside down. Imagine being arrested for something you didn't do, all because someone judged you based on how you looked. Now imagine this happening to the son of the most powerful person in town. This is Marcus's story, a story about injustice, assumptions, and a truth that shook everyone involved. It was just another summer evening in Brookhaven, a small, quiet town where everyone thought they knew everyone else. Marcus Carter, a 17-year-old high school junior, had just finished basketball practice. Sweaty and tired, he decided to grab a water from the corner store before heading home. As he walked in, Marcus noticed a police cruiser parked outside. He didn't think much of it. Cops were always around. He went straight for the fridge, grabbed a bottle of water, and walked to the counter to pay. But the second he stepped out of the store, things changed. "Hold up, kid. Where do you think you're going?" That was the voice of Officer Daniels, one of the two cops standing by the cruiser. Marcus stopped, confused. "I'm just heading home," he said, holding up the water bottle and his receipt. Daniels glanced at his partner, Officer Reed. "We've been getting calls about a kid stealing from this store. Mind if we check your bag?" Marcus frowned. "I don't even have a bag." The tension started building. To Marcus, this felt wrong. To the officers, they thought they were just doing their job, but instead of letting Marcus explain, they took it further. Within moments, Daniels grabbed Marcus's arm. "Stop resisting," he muttered, even though Marcus wasn't fighting back. "I didn't do anything," Marcus protested. Reed pulled out the cuffs. "We'll sort it out at the station," he said. A small crowd began to gather. People pulled out their phones, recording as Marcus was pushed into the back of the squad car. His face was flushed with anger and humiliation, but he stayed quiet. He knew that anything he said could make things worse. At the police station, Marcus sat in a small room, waiting. He asked repeatedly to call his mom, but the officers ignored him. Back at home, Mayor Elaine Carter was finishing up a meeting when her phone buzzed. It was Marcus's teammate. "Marcus got arrested," the boy said, his voice trembling. Elaine's heart dropped. "What? Arrested for what?" Without wasting a second, she grabbed her car keys and sped to the station. While Marcus waited in that small room, videos of his arrest started spreading online. By the time Elaine arrived at the station, a crowd of protesters had already gathered outside. Inside, the officers who arrested Marcus still didn't know who he was. To them, he was just another kid who fit the description. When Elaine walked into the station, the room went silent. "Where is my son?" she demanded, her voice steady but full of anger. The officers looked confused. "Your son?" Daniels asked. "Yes, my son. Marcus Carter. The boy you just arrested without any evidence." Reed's face turned pale. "We didn't know he was your son," he stammered. Elaine didn't hold back. "That's the problem," she said. "It shouldn't matter who he is. You treated him like a criminal because of how he looks." The chief of police stepped in, reviewing the evidence. Security footage from the store clearly showed Marcus paying for his water. Witnesses backed up his story. They had nothing on him. Marcus was released, but the damage was done. Elaine held a press conference that night, standing next to her son. "This isn't just about Marcus," she said. "This is about every kid who's been judged, harassed, or mistreated because of their skin color. This can't keep happening." The officers were suspended, and an internal investigation was launched. Policies on racial bias were reviewed, and mandatory training for all officers was put in place. For Marcus, that night changed everything. It wasn't just about what happened to him. It was about the bigger picture. He started speaking out at schools and events, sharing his story to raise awareness about racial profiling. This wasn't just another case of mistaken identity. It was a moment that forced an entire town to look at itself and ask hard questions. And for Marcus, it was the beginning of a mission to make sure no one else would have to go through what he did. Want more stories that make you think? Hit subscribe